Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagan Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adoration Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, the one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, Upashama Prakarana, and section number is 42. We have just concluded the story of Prahlad and the manner in which he attained the highest goal of life. Goal is to be whole. You have to remember that. As long as you are slightest deficiency from being whole, you have not reached the goal. Goal is Purnam. No defect in it. Absolute. And that's liberation. Having related that whole episode of Prahlad, Sage Vasishtha continues. The entire teaching of Prahlad was given instead of presenting to Rama his direct message. Artistic way is presented. He says, I'm not telling you what Vishnu told Prahlad. You may not have so much reverence for me, but at least you will have reverence for me, Lord Vishnu. I'm jokingly telling you that all this is artistic way to create scriptures. If you take it literally, you are a child. Because Vishnu has no reason to go to give a whole talk to a devotee. By that what I'm implying, God doesn't have a problem for giving you enlightenment. If you are ready, you become enlightened. If you are not ready, God can't do anything about it. Say he's so kind, why couldn't he just give enlightenment to everybody? Then all your life's glory and effort and sunshine and bravery that comes through the scriptures, where will they go? The whole world will be viewed like a big desert. Nothing to gain, nothing to lose. Try to understand that. But that point will become clearer as we go on. Sage Vasishtha continued, O Rama, thus I have related to you the glorious story of Prahlad, the manner in which he attained enlightenment, and the elevated life he lived after enlightenment. Whoever listens to this story with a discerning mind will become free of all sins. So instead of saying, whoever listens to me, his me has become a art. What Vishnu told Prahlad. And also, just to remind you, bhakti, role of bhakti has been given in Prahlad in a very profound way. There is absolutely no contradiction between bhakti and Vedanta. Prahlad starts with bhakti, devotional practice. But his devotion opens the door to 3 stages of directing the mind to God. First, Sagun Sakar. Sagun Sakar means God who is viewed by your mind having a body like you, but not exactly like that. Magical. But he also stands on 2 feet. He also lifts his hands. He has 4. But he's very close to the way you look. So, God made man in his image, but man makes God in his image. So that's the Sagun Sakar level. Each level has its role, very powerful. But you don't stay in it, you move upward. The Sagun Sakar allows your mind to begin to enjoy a divine type of love. But once the love deepens, form is not important, even in practical reality. Once you have seen the person you are waiting to meet, your eyes go on looking for the form, where the person is, how distant he is. But once the person has come and the basic formality has been completed, now message, share your heart, not just the body. I'm joking. Implying your form is no longer important, but your qualities are important. This is called Sagun Nirakar, second level, maturer level of sadhana. You're not worried about how does God look. Have I made a mistake in figuring out his face? Should it be that blue or should it be a little shabal? No, that's childish stage. But that is important. Everything is important for an aspirant in different levels. Even though you are advanced, your mind needs sometimes support of a form. So, while we speak of all the details, all the steps, but you must realize all those steps are up and down. You go back and forth. Only if you are advanced, when you go backward, you don't stay with it, you are not hurt by it. You shake. And that even that shaking has a purpose. It strengthens you. But all stages begin to operate. Only you are settled on a very high plane. That's your bedroom. That's where you relax. Your state you have reached. That's called sthiti. The other aspect is called avastha. States of experience go on changing. And don't worry about it. Sthiti remains firm. If you belong to heart center and you are firm there, you will go back to all other centers, up and down, but you will remain relaxed at your heart center. That becomes a natural development. That's called sthiti. Enlightenment comes when your sthiti is where Ajna Chakra opens up, intuitional vision develops, and That's where your sthiti. You are now rooted at that level that the world is a dream. So no matter how much cream you take, not a drop is real. So don't scream. So that with that vision, all this is like a dream. The real I am remains untouched. Sage Vasishtha continued, O Rama, thus have I related to you. But let me conclude on that. As I said, first Saguna Sakar, second Saguna Nirakar, third Nirgun Nirakar. Because with Nirgun you can't add Sakar or Sagun. So, with Nirgun you have only no choice. You can't say Nirgun Sakar. So Nirgun Nirakar. To understand Nirgun Nirakar is not a mental job. Spiritual movement is like blossoming of a bud blossoms. How does the bud comes to blossoming state? That's not ordinary effort. There is a subtle nature behind it. So Nirgun Nirakar comes sahaj, spontaneous, implying you come to a state where your entire mental process and whatever the mind brings becomes your range of observance. It is in your sakshi, you are visualizing it. Whatever word I'm using again is limited. And you find yourself at your deepest level unaffected, no matter how things go. It's brought out in a simpler way to understand. You become like the sky. And no matter how things go, no matter how many clouds come back and forth, and all the colors may manifest day by day, hour after hour, changes go on occurring. The sky remains just the same. All things that come and go, not a single scratch stays in the sky. Next time, look at it. That type of aware development, a deep-rooted revelation, I am that. That's Jivan Mukti. You become liberated. Here again, you have to understand, now come to a practical way to understand. Liberation is not all this said easily, they're done in one sentence. Brahma Satyam, Vihunal, shorter. Practice is a progressive movement. Same situation that you are become detached and look at it like, oh, it's a dream. But a little tamas enters the mind, a rajas creates some shifting situation. Now you don't have that same one who enjoyed being detached. Now is so attached wants to see every little detail. So this process will continue. If you have not gone into deeper understanding of life, then all will say, oh, I studied 5 years of Vedanta. What has happened? One little tree fell, and the whole Vedanta crashed. What I'm trying to say, didn't crash. All this will continue, allowing you to have firmer and firmer root at a higher level. Your avastha will gradually move up. But even while avastha is moving up, your changing situations will continue up and down. If you go up, it is not real for you. Go down, that also is not real for you. But how will you know all the fun? By going up and down. So when I said about that it is nirgun nirakar, it meant all that you mentally meditate upon, mentally you design now, Brahman, I am Vedantin, Brahman is not any form, but all that you are saying has a form, and you are not able to understand it. And to come to that state, even that mental concept is not the real one. Brahman is beyond all your mind's palabras. The mind uses the best palabra, Brahman is Satchidananda. How can we excel any other definition? But that palabra has entered your mind, that word has entered, and mind is very happy that I have found the highest Brahman, nothing else I want Satchidananda, that's all. But that's what you understand Satchidananda, and what Satchidananda is. It's a big difference. So, when you come to that level of insight, that you should not stay satisfied with your mental concept of God, no matter how Vedantic it is. But allow yourself to have that revelation. Revelation is not creating concept. You see, just like you are seated in a room and now imagining, how does the sun look like? How does the garden look like? And then you have a best of opinion and the concept. But no matter how wonderful, the reality is open the window. And can't go on saying how. Nirguna Nirakar. In Prahlad's story, Prahlad's devotion is not limited to what general masses practice bhakti yoga. Having advanced in devotion, Prahlad comes up to a state of Soham Hamsa. I am that am I. And bows down to Vishnu, this is the fruit of your love for me. So therefore, simple moral behind all that in the name of studying Bhakti Yoga, don't ignore all the Vedantic points of how an aspirant should be well qualified. He must develop vivek. First he must develop vairagya, dispassion. He must develop vivek, discriminative understanding, what is real, what is not. He must develop shama, dhamma, uparati, titiksha, saddha, samadha. I'm not going to those details, all the qualities. And aspiration. And while developing these, he must get involved with shravana, listening, manana, reflection, nididhyasana, assimilating what you have listened by in a profound way. And then coming to the grip of revelation, the real I am. It doesn't come all the way, all all of it, but gradual, progressive. None of this contradicts devotion. Rather, these are all embellishment of devotion. You consider devotion as Devi, all these are her rings in the ears, ring in the nose, and all types of things. Vasishtha continues, ignorance is the root of all sins and is destroyed by the practice of inquiry into the nature of the self. Even the slightest effort directed towards self-realization removes multitudes of sins. Practice of bhakti is enhanced if you are practicing shravana, listening to a Vedantic topic, the insight into Mahavakyas, great utterances. All this is delightful to your Ishta Devata. And every step you take in understanding who am I in a profound way, it has pleased God, and He takes 1,000 steps towards you. And you are not even inviting Him. You are simply saying, Aham Brahman. Figure out this. I'm leading to a very mature state. Maturity is not easy to understand. In other words, if you are having all types of ritualistic meditation and all the mantras, the best of mantras you have found from the Google, that doesn't complete your devotion. You begin to understand that God is the source of your personality. He is your reality. Now He becomes the real love. The entire world and all things you love is for the sake of self. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. God is that Atman. So when you come to grip of that, now you can understand your bhakti has gone into high level. Otherwise you keep your bhakti in a low level. I wait for an opportunity. I will go to Kashi, Banaras, and there I will see a particular deity, and you have already started collecting the what called ducks. So, listening, reflection, or any effort directed towards self-realization brings divine grace and removes multitudes of sins. Whoever listens to these teachings of Lord Vishnu given to Prahlad will become free of all the sins of his past 7 embodiments. Again, teachings are given to people. A teacher has to be artistic. Look at the faces of the people and do it according to their mind. You talk beyond their mental capacity, then you should not keep their profession. What I'm leading you to understand, for the mass, for general level of mind, that by listening to the teachings, you are going to move away from all your embodiments and all your negative karmas from millions of lives. They will be all blotted out. That's the real statement. 7 makes you comfortable. The same 7 is used in another context. King Parikshit was going to live only for 7 days. And within 7 days he had to attain enlightenment. So it is not a problem of Parikshit, everybody. Everybody is going to live and leave the body one of the 7 days. So 7 embodiments will be wiped away, sins of 7 embodiments. Just simply allegorical. Sri Rama asked, O sage, the mind of King Prahlad was absorbed in samadhi. What was the reason for its awakening at the sound of the conch proceeding from Lord Vishnu? Again, the dialogue is meant to lead the masses. So Rama is not so dull-wit. I'm joking. But Rama is asking questions so that Vasishtha can explain. And that becomes your study of Yoga Vasistha. Same thing. Arjuna asks, Krishna explains. Sage Vasishtha explained, O Rama, there are 2 types of liberation. Liberation in life, called Jivan Mukti, and liberation with the termination of the body, that's called Videha Mukti. Mukti is now viewed. Again, it's being brought for the general masses, the mind of generality of people, to understand that sage who is liberated, he goes through 2 stages. His liberation comes while he is still in the body. Now, but body is limited. When the body has ended, his liberation has not failed. Or understand it the other way around. Other way around means even while the body is there, you can be liberated. But that problem does not exist in the person who is enlightened. Once you are deeply involved with the understanding, with deep revelation, I am not the body. Whether body is there or not, that doesn't make any difference to your advanced level. When you are sleeping, which way your pillar has angled itself doesn't make any difference to you. So therefore, coming again to understand the point, liberation comes while you are alive. There are scriptures that also talk about some sages, saintly souls attain liberation after their death. But there is a subtle point there. During life, they had attained 99% of that liberation movement. 1% required a karmic fructification, a karma to be experienced through death. So death became the factor to move the obstacle away. Soul doesn't have to come back. And technically, he is described to have attained liberation after death. But that should not delude you. Always focus your mind. Liberation has to be attained while you are alive. If it happens after death, it's totally on the basis of what you have already achieved. That momentum lets you to attain enlightenment, as if a little later. And for enlightenment, termination of the body is not neither here nor there. A dull-witted student studying Videha Mukti, very upset with the world, develops the idea that when will I have no body, just be there. That type of thinking leads to all types of trouble. So now, therefore, gain insight into Jivan Mukta. That's your practical reality. But now the question arises, how does Jivan Mukta look like? How does he sit? How does he walk? How does he sing? That's how Gita begins, Sthit Prajna Lakshanas. The sage who is not affected by desirable as well as undesirable developments. First point to understand, the world will never be favorable to anyone, even for a single day. That responsibility of feeling relaxed is yours, in your hand, not in the hand of the world. The world will continue to be what it is. All the three gunas continue to play their role. But by your self-effort, when you have created a harmonious concordance within your personality, what I call integral yoga, then all that the world can do will not touch you. चाको राखे साइयां मार न सके हैं कोई, बाल न बांका कर सके. Even one hair within you will not be robbed from you. I'm giving a joking interpretation. And that's what in Ramayana, in the prayer, Prasannatam ya nagata abhishekata tathana mamle banavasa dukkata. Rama's face didn't become sour when he first his face didn't beam up with joy, elation, when he was told that he was going to be king of Ayodhya. He was going to be given coronation. But the very next day, led by Kaikeyi's plot, Rama is being sent out into the forest. Same father conveys the news. And Rama listens and his face doesn't make any change. Serene face stays. That's the characteristic of being Jivan Mukta. I can lead you to a further step. If Rama is acting with children around him, he would make changes in the face. Alas, I who have done so many good things are sending me to the forest. But it's a humor for him. But I'm leading you to understand even the expressions of misery coming from sages, they are at a superficial level. So in the Christianity, Christ on the cross suddenly comes the grip of such terrible tragedy, physical pain and all that. And he suddenly speaks out, "Oh Father, have you forgotten me?" But immediately he improves upon it. And it flows away. So that's the role of Sthita Prajna. Your sufferings are as real as sufferings for you. The mosquito bites a sage. The bite is not sweet at all. No matter how much he knows, all is Brahman. So his expression of pain will be very sincere. But while people think he is living in the world of brain and nervous system, that is not so. He is beyond. How beyond? He knows. And people also know because of the impact. Everyone has a spiritual sensitivity. Just like if you are hungry, your nose knows. When there is food smell comes in. Everyone is struggling to be free of the world process, struggling to be joyous. And when sincerity enters, then you exactly know among teachers who is telling you the right path. And for that you don't need to go through a big study and be a big scholar. So that's what. A dynamic energy arises out of saintly personalities because of their compassionate heart. And that touches the minds of people. So that aspect is a characteristic of sages. When the prarabdha karma of a jivan mukta is exhausted, his physical body comes to an end and is said to have attained videha mukti. And now this is practical reality. His body is sustained by prarabdha karma. Everybody's body, whether you are sage or not a sage. Big difference. A sage allows the prarabdha karma to be exhausted, not creating new karmas. Those who are not enlightened, while you are exhausting prarabdha karma gave you your body, set of circumstances come day by day, they are all defined by prarabdha. But while you are going through the prarabdha, you are creating new karmas that will define your prarabdha for the next embodiment. That point doesn't exist in the case of a sage. He has walked out of the pot. So what will happen to the pot is not important for him. Prarabdha karma is just like the karma of the pot. One day pot will break out. And it has nothing to do with the reflected sun that has realized, I am the sun. That has been the old style of Indian films. In the middle of a big suspense, now intermission. Turning to the point of prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma, again I'm reiterating because it's a profound topic. Prarabdha karma operates in three ways. Ichha prarabdha. Some karmas will act in such a way that it follows according to your wishes. And you don't know how the time is passing. You don't know the footsteps of time. Lot of time passes away. So, 6 months have passed. So that's Swacha prarabdha. Next type of prarabdha, anicca. Things you never imagined that you have to do. See, suddenly a storm comes in, you never imagine you have to leave everything, run to save your life. Even the most dearest of your records, you can't. This is anicca prarabdha. And pareccha prarabdha, your near and dear ones ask you, how dear am I? You say, oh, you are very dear. Okay, then this is the plan for you. And you find the plan presented is a source of his own delight also. So that's called pareccha prarabdha. He didn't think of it in the beginning, but his own near and dear ones, his own disciples, etc., they persuade him to get into a particular project. So prarabdha operates in all the three ways for everyone, whether you are enlightened or not enlightened. Only difference for the enlightened ones, these prarabdha karmas, as they operate, they are not building any new karma. So sage is not going to stay on in physical body. But the question of staying on in the physical body is at a childish level. Because that doesn't make any difference. FPL has no difference whether your bulb is healthy or broken. This is a bulb, iPad. Existence of iPads and non-existence doesn't make difference for the entire energy that is behind it. God, Brahman. That Brahman is I am. Until then you are with the iPad. That's bad. It keeps you sad. A Jivan Mukta, even though awake to the normal state of consciousness, He is ever rooted in his transcendental self. He views the world as an illusory projection sustained by the self. Lord Hari is the self abiding in all beings. Now, bhakti is being brought to match up with exact Vedanta. घट घट में है साईं रमता है. In every individual personality there dwells God. But who is that God? The self. The I am in every individual. All reflected suns, they shine by whose light? The sun. That sun is the real I am behind all reflected suns. Though each one may say, I am the son of a sun. Even though awake to the normal state of consciousness, he is ever rooted in the transcendental self. He views the world as an illusory projection sustained by the self. He comes to the high level of profound understanding. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. All the experience that you get about the world is based upon the mind's thought waves of your mind. All that you see on the screen in a show is based upon projection after projection directed towards the screen. And projections move so fast that your eyes don't find any fault with it. Similarly, all that you are experiencing, because your mind is alert, your brain is active, moment after moment, you are catching impressions. Your mind is fabricating all these impressions into a whole story. And everyone is having the same but little different. No two persons are listening exactly. No two persons are experiencing exactly. So this is called vrittis of the mind, thought waves of the mind. So while these thought waves go on creating for the masses, for souls that are not enlightened, there is no world anywhere else but to watch the show and go on being shaken. Not only you are watching, you are a part of the show. Now, as you begin to be awakened in a spiritual way, you are not part of the show, you are actor in the show. That's one stage. Second stage, show is just complete illusion. The screen is always there. Even not you are a part. The screen, you have been looking at the screen. Neither green nor white, just a screen. And your mind has been interpreting it with all the fun, etc. There comes that terminology of bhav pratyaya and pratyaya bhav. Vritti-based experience, that's called bhav pratyaya. Your awareness based on projections of mind, called bhava pratyaya. Presence of world awareness. And pratyaya bhav, all this projection-based awareness moves away, cuts down. When the reality reveals, that's called pratyaya bhav. In revelation, there is no mental function. Therefore, mind gets tired, it goes on getting effaced. Manonash, vasanakshaya, tattva-jnana. And with this we conclude. Om Triambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukuma bandhanan mrityor mukshiyamamritat. Om Triambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukuma bandhanan mrityor mukshiyamamritat. Sarve bhavantu sukhina sarve santu niramaya sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschid dukhabhat bhavet asato ma sadgamaya tamso ma jyotirgamaya mrityor ma mritam gamaya. Om purnamadah purnamidam purnat purnamudachyate purnasya purnamadaya purnamevavashishyate. Om shanti shanti Shanti. Om Hari Om.